Welcome back to Northwest Elite Spirit, the channel you come to train your mind, body, and spirit. I'm Coach Brian. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, do that now and make sure to ring that notification bell to stay up to date on all of my newest releases. This is Coach Brian down by the river. Now, I live and work out of my van, and I am often down by a river. You can call it homelessness, you can call it van life. To me, the line is kind of blurry there. And I would like a much nicer van, and I would like a place to be able to rest my head without having to run around so much. And so I'm thinking to myself, like, how am I in this situation where I can't afford a better van and I can't afford a better place to stay? At least a place to keep my stuff while I'm out doing things. And so I'm looking back, I'm recapitulating my life. And I think it has a lot to do with how people react to me and the people that I put myself around. For example, people that I put myself around will start with just my family. I grew up in a family that there's a lot of self-sabotage and there's a lot of sabotage of each other. I would say, for instance, I had family who would steal from you in October and then call you on Thanksgiving to brag about, what they're doing for Thanksgiving. Or they'd come to your house on Thanksgiving, your savings would disappear, and then they'd be calling you on Christmas, bragging about their Christmas. Not only that, though, but if you were to speak out about that sort of thing, hey, like, that person steals from us every time, why would we have them around? The family rallies against you. So if you were to speak up about an uncle or an aunt who stole, the family would rally against you. Even to the extent of having elders who assault kids, kid touchers. If you are to speak out in my family against kid touchers, they would rally against, the entire family would rally against you. And they still want to hang out with you the next time they see you. You know what I mean? Like, really a lot of animosity towards you over this. And then be like, hey, Brian, how's it going? Like that sort of thing. Nope. Just got a friend request from a family member today. And I'm like, nope. So anyway, a lot of sabotage in the family. Well then, so I start rebelling and I go out in the world and I find friends. And what do you know? I find friends who are dirtbags, sabotagers, backstabbers, and thieves. Right? And, maybe they like a girl too, or maybe they just don't like that a girl likes you. And so they'll sabotage you, but be your best friend, be the person by your side. Or even, like, I used to have this bully. I think he thought himself more a bully, where to me, he was just really annoying. And when I started this, really getting into, like, working out, and back then, when I first started, I was going for, like, a shape. I was going for the Bruce Lee V. And there's this neighborhood girl, and both of us were interested in her, but she was interested in me. And she was talking about how I was starting to shape up. And he says, he's just skinny. And there's been a lot of that sort of thing in my life too. Like the proof is there in front of people and they just can't handle what's going on in front of them. And so they have some sort of strange reaction. And I even ended up meeting a woman and spending a lot of time with a woman who one day after the relationship was over, I'm having a conversation with somebody and they say to me, yeah, she said that you would never be able to provide. And it struck me, like thinking back, I was always producing, but also it was always getting sabotaged. And in that instant, I had a flashback to her statement that Brian would never be a provider. Wasn't necessarily a prediction, it was a vow. So running up against a lot of people who just work very hard to sabotage myself. And since I was in a relationship with her, sabotage herself as well. And then just realizing that it's the same. Like if we're best friends and we're out in the world rolling together and you're sabotaging me, you can only be sabotaging yourself, right? And so there's been a lot of that. And so, okay, get away from all those friends. Start making my own way in the world. And go into business. And I've always wanted to be a coach and a trainer. And so what's happening is I am doing Insanity in the morning, P90X at night, training for Spartans, Muddy Buddies, Dirty Dash, all these things, all these obstacle course races. And I learned that there's a martial arts gym like 3 blocks from my house. And I learned that through my kid was wrestling. So I start going there and training. So I show up to this gym and start training. I'm there for jiu-jitsu and MMA. But soon after, they lose their jiu-jitsu coach who was there at the time. And so I find myself filling in. And then even when they do get I wouldn't say full-time coach because he wasn't always there. Even when they do get a new coach, new professor, he's not always there, and I find myself filling in. And it was the same with the mixed martial arts coach. Soon he wasn't able to come in as much, and I was filling in. And then when they lost everybody, it was just me. So as it's just me, I am also signed up for like a fight. I'm trying to train for fights. And so I'm having to go other places because there's nobody at my gym. So I'm having to go other places, sometimes very far. And while I'm there, not only am I like getting myself trained, but I'm hunting for coaches for the gym that I'm at. I'm just a blue belt, and I was just a blue belt then, according to, the system. I've been practicing martial arts since I was 13 years old, so I roll at a higher level than a blue belt. But having said that, I know that having a blue belt teaching isn't a great selling, not only is it not a great selling point, but it's like a faux pas. So I'm out in the world getting my own training and trying to find a coach or coaches. And I find that the gym owners of where I'm doing all this work are finding out that I'm, showing up at these places, and they're calling these gym owners and telling them not to train me and like trying to paint me as a bum who's only trying to get free training. The gym owners that I was working with didn't know that gym owners were letting me know this, but that's what was going on, and I didn't just hear it from one gym owner. So I am talking to the owners that I'm in partnership with, and I'm telling them that I need training and we need coaches, and they're telling me, no, you're good enough, you're a great coach, we don't need any other coaches right now. At the same time, they're like trying to trap me into having to be there through contractual things or even through like connections. Then they decide that they don't want to pay me. And so I say, forget that, I'm done. I literally walk out of the gym, start walking home. And they follow me like almost all the way home. So then soon after I start getting these messages, we're gonna sue you, we know you stole this, that, like, what were they saying? Something about, we have trackers on our equipment and we know you stole this, sort of thing, and challenging me to fights. Come over here and I'll beat your ass, this sort of thing. So up until I was done, like I was a great coach, I was the best coach. We didn't need anybody else, right? But as soon as I took a stand against them, all of a sudden I was jack shit. So not only that, but I just happened to be out doing something, talking to somebody, and some people offered to help me open my own gym. And I do. And now the word in the street becomes, he doesn't know what he's doing. You know what I mean? What else were they saying? Oh, he's a know-it-all. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's a control freak. This is what they're telling people. And they're even serving this up to my students of the time. And the majority of the students actually stay with these people and go out into the community and promote this narrative. He's just a blue belt propagating this idea that I didn't know what I was doing and I didn't have a good coaching system going on. But if you were to come to my gym, you would have seen that I had initially a brown belt, high-level brown belt, and black belt helping in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and then became 2 black belts in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But I also had a black belt in John Ranzu Jiu-Jitsu, and his best student were constantly showing up almost every day. A judo black belt, and his best student showing up all the time, an Aikido master and his student. So I had a lot of help in that gym, and a lot of experience and a lot of good teaching going on. Yet still the community was promoting the idea that there was no good to be had there. And some of my ex-students would they would show up sometimes, and we'd give them a gentle little spanking. You know, we wouldn't beat them up, but we would. Their jiu-jitsu and their MMA wasn't even close. And a couple of them even like cried and said, "I'm sorry," but then went right back to that other gym. Eventually that gym took advantage of everyone involved in it, business partners and students. And which is funny because this ties back into family. When I opened my gym, I was living with my mom and my brother. And one day I get a call from my brother's baby mama asking me what I think of that other gym. Is it worth training at for my niece? And again, the people you're around, man, like they knew what was going on with that gym, and they knew what I thought about that gym. And they called me and asked me this. And then they signed my niece up for that gym. And literally, there were days where my mom or my brother would be like, "Well, gotta take her to gym," and then I would be leaving to go do my classes at my gym. And eventually, again, my family got ripped off by these people. And it's funny how it all ties together. I went for a run one day, and there was this boxing coach that was coming in as I was phasing out, and he was hardly ever there. And we were both on a run, and we ran into each other. And he starts telling me the story of what went on between everybody after I left. And it was the same story. Like, everything that happened to me or with me was on repeat. They're just doing that shit to each other. And now I'm in the running world, and I know that I'm sharing great advice with people, and I know they're using it. They're giving me kudos in DMs. They're giving me kudos like face to face. They're like, you know, the old wink and the nod, like, yeah, like that nugget that you gave me was a game changer. And yet, nobody's shouting me out as a coach. And this isn't like me complaining. This is my recapitulation, like what I'm noticing about where I put myself. But if you consider yourself a friend, and I've helped you in any way, if I've given you a whole system that you've used to lose weight, get healthy, get strong, practice towards a thing, if I've given you just a little nugget that flipped the switch in your brain and gave you a total turnaround in life, tell people about that. Tell people about me. And don't let people shut you down. I know I'm different. I know I go about things differently. And I know people are going to tell you, Brian don't know what he's talking about. But the proof is in the pudding. Stop letting people talk you out of a great thing. Once again, I'm Coach Brian with Northwest Elite Spirit, the channel you come to train your mind, body, and spirit. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, do that now, and make sure to ring that notification bell to stay up to date on all of my newest releases. This has been Coach Brian down by the river. If you found this interesting or helpful, you can contact me at northwestelitespirit@gmail.com. You can find my books, The ABCs of Strength and Endurance and Running Made Easy, on Amazon and Kindle.